the story of our world every day. Listen and your heart may open up. If ever you feel frightened of our world that's washed away, a mother is a mother, come to us. Women, 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 women. Women sew the fabric of our world every day. History of violence made it through. The stories that we share will all live on, and so we say these truths are our gifts passed on to you, women.
Welcome to tonight's hashtag 101 Nights show. I'm Lisa Liebau, co-founder and president of the Scheherazade Project, a women's activism through storytelling arts movement that uses the power of art, creativity, solidarity, and courage in promoting social justice, nourishing our spirits, and enabling a more beloved community. To celebrate women's right to vote in the United States, we're bringing together women literary, visual, and performing artists to tell, dance, paint, sing, or weave at least one story per night from July 25th through November 2nd, 2020, showcasing our strong voices for 101 nights to encourage all Americans to use their voices in the most important way, by heading to the polls to vote. Join us live every night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tonight, our story is from writer Santi Karamchetty, a self-described clinical child psychology burnout who rediscovered enthusiasm and excitement while taking her first creative writing class. She's the author of 2 rough drafts, a fantasy novel, and a spy caper. Tonight, she'll delight us with a fable from her fantasy novel. We bring you Santi Karamchetty.
Long ago, there lived a woman who was the best hunter in her village and was married to the head man. Although she and her husband were grateful that the villagers lived in peace and usually found enough to eat, the couple was sad that they had no child. Years of full moon fasts and dream walks in the forest didn't bring her a child, but they made her a more observant hunter. One day, while hunting deep in the forest, she became separated from the other men and women in her party and got lost. She tried to retrace her steps, but found herself at an unfamiliar stream. Tired, hungry, and thirsty, she bent down to drink from the cool, clear water. To her delight, she spotted a plump orange fish. She grabbed it, quick as a frog's tongue, with both hands and pulled it out of the water. As she reached for her knife, the fish spoke to her. "Please, human," it gasped, "I must lay my eggs, for I am among the last of my kind. Spare my life and you will be rewarded." The woman was very hungry, but she looked into the fish's black eye and took pity on it and placed it back in the water. Eventually, she found her group and they returned to the village. When she told the people about the fish, they laughed at her, and her husband scolded her. "Fish don't talk, and you were a fool to let it go. The leaves are turning, and soon the land will sleep. Next time you catch something, you must bring it for us to eat." Some days later, she went into the forest with her hunting party again and spotted a bird with magnificent plumage. It was big enough to make stew for 3 huts full of people, and its feathers would make fine ornaments for the head man. It flew from tree to tree toward the thickest part of the forest, so she followed it alone until it perched on a bough hanging over the same stream she had been to before. She shot it just as it took flight. With a damaged wing, the bird fell to the ground and hopped about. The woman pounced on it. Before she could wring its neck, the bird cried, "Please, hunter, my family is waiting in our nest for me to bring them food. Have mercy on me and you will be rewarded." She took pity on the graceful creature and released it. When she found her group, they asked what became of the bird. Since it was not in her nature to lie, she told them. When the head man heard, he became very angry. I told you not to release any more prey, but you disobeyed me. As punishment, you will not eat any meat until you find another animal that can feed as many people as that bird." The woman was hungry the next morning, having eaten only dried berries and mashed grain, so she set out for the woods again. This time, she knew the location of the stream, so she went there with the hope of finding the bird or another like it. When she arrived, she found a doe standing on the bank and drinking. It was large enough to make stew for 5 huts, and its golden brown fur, spotted with white, would make a beautiful shirt for the head man. A moment before she released her arrow, the deer spotted her and darted away. The arrow struck its leg, and the deer fell. She held its head as she pulled out her knife to cut its throat. The deer trembled under her hand. "Please, hunter, my fawns need me to teach them how to find food. Without me they will die. Please spare me. If you do, you will be rewarded." The woman hesitated. She was very hungry, and her husband was already quite angry with her. But the deer looked at her with such desperation in its brown eyes that she released its head and pulled the arrow from its leg. She helped the creature stand, and it hobbled into the woods. When she returned to the village, the headman asked her, "Well, did you find anything?" She couldn't lie to him. This time he was furious. "You disobey me but respect the wishes of an animal? Very well then. Until the next half moon you can sleep with the animals. Get out of the village." Angry and hurt by her husband's banishment, the woman ran into the forest back to the stream. She flung herself onto the ground and wept. After some time, she was joined in her sorrow by someone else's wails. She wiped her eyes and listened. It was an infant. She waded upstream and found, under the low tree boughs, a naked baby sitting in the pine needles with dirt on his hands and knees. She picked him up and heard voices. One gurgled from the stream, another cawed from a treetop, and a third spoke from the thickness of the trees. "You took mercy on us. Here is your reward." Overjoyed, the woman returned to the village and told the headman what had happened as he held the baby. He was immediately chastened and begged for her forgiveness. And they lived on, as we all do, in pain and joy.
See what I mean when I say creativity will save both artist and audience? Every night we share a performance, the power of our voices grows. By the time we reach November 2nd, the eve of the 2020 election day, all eligible voters will be ready to raise them in the most important way of all. Go vote, everyone.
Mother is a mother come to us. Women, 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 women. Women sew the fabric of our world every day. History of violence made it through. The stories that we share will live on, and so we say these truths are our gifts passed on to you.